certain. Simply curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. Would have kept me from the one I had today. From my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. Would have kept me from the one I love today. One street over there's a life I could have known. Things aren't always.
This is the weekend you need to get out to the races. Veterans Motorplex, they're racing every Saturday night through October. Of course, weather permitting, that's why you need to follow them at Highland Rim Speedway. Follow them at the old webpage. Whenever they switched over to Veterans Motorplex, they had 19,000 followers, so they hung on to that old name. You'll find it on social media, Highland Rim Speedway, but that's where you check out what's happening at Veterans Motorplex. One of the best-kept secrets in Robertson County, racing every Saturday night on a quarter mile.
You know, sometimes things just want to be a little glitchy. And I was in here way early, too. So, I mean, it's just, glitchy stuff, guys. Hey, good morning. This is 1100 WSGI. Again, I'm U-Turn LaVern, and this is one street over. Welcome to it. Happy Veterans Day to everybody that is listening. I hope that you spend some time thanking a veteran. We actually have one sitting here with me. I want to introduce him immediately. This is retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Allen. 20 years of service, former helicopter pilot, public affairs officer serving overseas in Germany, multiple occasions, and stateside, and 2 combat deployments to Iraq. So 2005, 2006, and 2009, 2010. And after service, you were a small business owner, currently enrolled in the culinary arts program at NASI. And you've been married to your wife, Katie, for 34 years, have 3 daughters, 3 boys and 3 daughters-in-laws, and 2 sweet granddaughters. And that's all from Lee Marie.
Yeah.
She did that. Lee Marie's just like, I'm going to bring it, man. She's like, don't. And she told me, she says, do not do Jeff's open with the music up because I want to make sure everybody can hear everything he's done. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here.
Happy Veterans Day to all my brothers and sisters out there who have served and worn the uniform. And it's a beautiful day today.
Yes,
great to be
it is.
Here.
Gorgeous. I mean, the fog and the sunshine, and got to be a little extra careful on the drive, though, because, I mean, that's a little bit, that visibility is a little bit rough this morning. But, just absolutely take caution. The traffic reporter in me is take caution in the foggy areas, guys. There was somebody walking on my road in the fog, and I was like, ooh, that's not really smart right now. You might want to wait until the fog kind of goes away.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Be careful on the roads. And I would be remiss if I didn't think, I love all my veterans, but of course I've got a favorite because I'm a mother of a soldier. Thank you for serving LaVern Vivio, and appreciate your service and all those who have served. But yes, I have a favorite. My kiddo Jedediah served and did a deployment in Iraq. I forget the years of service, but he did not retire. He went in, just did one term and came out. You spent 20 years, man. You said 21 actually.
Yeah, I came in. Yeah, I went to college at East Tennessee State University, got my commissioning through the ROTC program there, and went in starting in 1990 when I graduated from school. And I had pretty continuous service. I did have a little break in service from like 2002 to 2004. I was in the reserves for a little bit. At the time, I was teaching ROTC up at Eastern Illinois University. And but then I came back in. The war was kicking off. The Iraq thing was going on. I felt like I needed to get back in the fight and help out there. So came back in, 2005, and then finished up, my 20 years after that.
God bless you. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you. And I've always said that one of my biggest regrets in life is that I did not serve.
Really?
Oh yeah. And I got recruited hard because I'm a big girl, and they're like, "Man, you make a great soldier." Come on. And I'd grown up in the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
And lost a dear friend. I mean, we lost our hired hand, Kenneth Pease, I looked up to him like a brother. And because he had been there, from the time he'd always been there. He'd always worked for my parents. And I remember so clearly losing him. It's my first vivid childhood memory.
Wow.
And, just one of those that's just it's sketched in me so hard. And for that reason, I always hated hippies because were so hard on our Vietnam veterans. I'm sorry. Okay. It was a stereotype of a kid. I know there's good hippies out there, but I couldn't stand them. And because of the way they treated the soldiers, because I thought if Kenneth died for that, then it was worthy, and how dare you? And so it started in me just a patriotism as a very young child. And so I just, having 4 boys, I'm very proud that one of my boys decided to put the uniform on because, I feel very strong about it. One of his brothers, I regrets not serving. The one that I'll tell you, I've got 2 at HCA, and I've heard him say many times he really wishes he'd put the uniform on. And I regret not. And I just appreciate you so much. I was just a big old chicken when they started recruiting me because of all that happened with Vietnam.
Right.
And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It obviously wasn't the path God chose for me.
Yeah.
But it was for my son. It was obviously for you. And I just don't. We're having a veterans program today at Greenbrier, and inevitably there'll be a time, because I've seen this last 2 years when we've done this. They'll ask the kids to stand up, and there'll be a few that won't. And I just want to go and shake them, love them, but just say, what are you thinking? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea of the cost of your freedom to be able to sit there?
Well, at that age, their cerebral cortex is not fully formed. They're not thinking straight.
No.
Because if they really knew what the sacrifice was all about, they would probably rethink that decision not to stand up. But that's just, that's society we live in right now.
And we're fortunate that in our area, we don't have as big of an issue with that as they do in some.
Yeah.
But it just enrages me, and I have to just pray through it because I just want to say, do you have any idea of that cost? Do you just not get it? And, I guess I'm old enough to have such vivid memories of Vietnam. And and of course, then when we go through the 9/11 memorial and things, we've got kids now in high school, they weren't born, and they don't have it. It's only what we tell them about it.
Yeah.
And, man, they just don't appreciate it. And that's the reason. The reason we're in school today, guys, is because, and I've had this conversation with our, school board members, director of school, and actually originally had the conversation with our former director, Chris Causey. And he said, the reason why the school board has the kids in school today is because we don't want them just having a day off. We want them to understand why our veterans matter. And I respect that highly. I just think that's wonderful that we are, because there's a lot of kids that are out of school today.
Yeah. Right.
And,
well, Montgomery County, I know, is out, and probably a lot of the neighboring counties.
Mm-hmm. But they make, our school board made the decision, nope, we're staying in, because it gives us, we have an amazing program that Coach Wood puts on at our school, and they have a panel of veterans come in, and the kids ask questions. They submit them ahead of time, but they ask questions, and it just gives them a chance to get a little more insight. And always on the panel is at least 1 or 2 of our staff members, because we have a couple of teachers that are veterans, and so they'll be there. My son's going to be there for the second session, and different ones, and there'll be some Vietnam vets there. And then they also have a program, I'm wanting to say it's at maybe East Robertson Elementary, that's just beautiful, where the veterans, the kids line the hall with little flags, and the veterans go and walk down the hall. And I just think that's just, but it's just, it just helps them to understand there's a cost there.
Yeah.
And it's not just, you're living in a free country. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I'm going to shut up. What do you want to say about Veterans Day? What do you want people to take away from Veterans Day today?
Well, I think that is very interesting. We talk about with you growing up in the Vietnam era, you knew people who you told me earlier that you'd lost a friend in Vietnam and so forth. And, I think that is a generation of veterans that even today, even though we've tried from, recognizing that slighting that they got during that era, just we can't tell them thank you enough. And so and they're getting older, that generation, that's my father's generation, and they're in their 70s and 80s, and they won't be with us too much longer, so we need to keep telling them, hey, thanks for your service during a time that was very difficult, in a combat environment that was very difficult. And so for all my Vietnam veterans out there, I want to say thanks. And here's the other thing too I think about on Veterans Day is that the World War II generation is just about gone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there are very few left. They're probably in their hundreds if they are still with us, and so and Korean War as well. So I think about those guys and just the sacrifices that they really gave back then in the 1940s and 50s, and just how long that combat environment was for them. When they would deploy, when they were, drafted, you went in from the beginning until it was done. I mean, you were there for the full shebang. Yeah. It wasn't like 1 year rotations in and out and that type of thing. So those guys had the long haul. So I think about those guys. And of course, we have a lot of folks. I also, if you're going to give me the microphone here. My guys who were in Afghanistan and, Iraq veterans, the younger generation. Those are the brothers that I fought with, that I deployed with. And, just a great bunch of Americans. And again, it was, I kind of liken our experience, because the political environment, to being somewhat like the Vietnam experience, although the people back home were on our side, the political environment was very contentious, and it wasn't really an enjoyable thing. To have that kind of division while you're trying to go out and defend your nation and do the thing the nation asked you to do. And then you got half of the political sphere, criticizing you and criticizing the government. And it was just kind of, that's kind of lousy. So I just want to tell those guys that served in Iraq and Afghanistan, even though we're still trying to figure out exactly why and the hows of what everything that went on, they served honorably. And I served at a time in 2005 to 2006 when I first went to Iraq. That was a very low point in the war for us. We were losing guys to IEDs and everything on the road every day. Right. And I was in Tikrit area, which was, Saddam's hometown, at Combat Operating Base Spiker at the time. And from where I was at, and I was with the 101st Airborne Division at the time, I was observing all this stuff from the division headquarters there, and I would get those reports in, and we'd kind of analyze the reports, and there's a lot of death and dying. And then we left there, and that's when Petraeus had the surge. And everything they did with the surge, and really pushed a lot of effort to pacify the insurgency that was going on. And then I came back, and I just happened to come back with the 3rd Infantry Division in 2009 to 2010. I went back to the exact same spot that I left with the 101st, back to Cobb Spiker outside of Tikrit. And I was able to see the change that happened from 2006 to 2010, where we were losing guys every day on the roads, like multiple guys were dying, to no one was dying, because of the efforts that we really flipped things around. And I just want to tell the guys that were, especially in Iraq, we won that thing. I mean, we did what the nation asked us to do, and we were successful, and that we did a great job in really pacifying Iraq and really doing some great stuff. And I know with the 3rd Infantry Division when I was there, the things that we did to bring the Kurds and the Shiite and the Sunnis together in a single, like, Iraqi unity, the best that could be done, we did it. And we were very successful. And then we left there, and then we just, the political decisions said we're just going to leave. And then it all just kind of, got messy again. But I just bring that up just to say that, if you are a Iraq, Afghanistan veteran, hey, thank you for what you did. You worked hard. You did what the nation asked you to do, and you did it so well, and we were successful in doing what we were asked to do. Political decisions notwithstanding, you guys did the job, and gals.
Amen, amen. Well said. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because so many people, because of the pullout and all of that, they just they have a lot of those echoes of Vietnam. They really do. And again, all of the things, you did what the country asked you to do.
Yeah.
It was the same, that's how I felt about, Kenneth. He did exactly what his country asked him to do. He served honorably, and how dare you disparage it, and I just, man, that was well said. Well said, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was
You bet.
good. That was good stuff.
Yeah, that's my
That was
story. I
good
mean,
stuff.
that's what I preach, man. Because I don't know that anyone in this environment, you don't hear that. All you hear about is like, what a mistake it was to go to Iraq, and
No.
we were lied to and all that. Well, whatever. I mean, maybe not. I don't know the facts on that, but I do know the fact is that we did what the nation asked us to do.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it in a nutshell. And that's the thing. When you put the uniform on, guys, you have no idea what's going to be happening around the corner from it. You are saying, I'm willing to step in. And there are so few that do it. There's so few. Do you know the stats on how few actually put on the uniform?
I mean, it used to be like
so small.
it was like 1% of the population volunteers for military service. And
Yeah.
I mean, this was, I remember that number we threw around, before 9/11 happened. It may have been a little more of that after 9/11, but it's not much.
No. I was going to say, I can probably on the Google machine here look it up, because it is so low. And I'm sure that now, of course, during the draft and things, it says now there are about 1.3 million active duty personnel, or less than 1/2% of the U.S. population.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Less than 1%. Less than 1%. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get that, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, that people are willing to put that uniform on and defend your nation.
And it's
Come
an all
on.
volunteer force. So these folks
there's
have
no draft right now.
Yeah, they've raised their right hand and said they will step in the gap on the behalf of the American people to do those hard things that we need done.
Amen. Amen. And it's so interesting. We, being in the high school environment, I've got seniors right now, and we're having the conversation with the kiddos that, oh, guys, you have to register for, selective service. And some of them don't have a clue what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't have a clue. I'm actually a proponent of men and women having to sign up for that. I love the Israeli model of everybody serves.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
There are advantages to it.
Yeah, how do you feel about that militarily? I don't have
Well,
any military experience, so I'm sure you have some.
Yeah,
very
so
more-
when you have
much
a
more educated
conscripted
thoughts.
force where everyone has to serve, I mean, there is a sense of everyone has got a skin in the game.
Right.
But I think you sacrifice some of the professionalism that you get from a volunteer force, people that actually want to be there and that will stay there for, full careers. And, I mean, having a couple of years in, you don't really, you're just scratching the surface on military capability.
Right.
You understand your basic job, but those kind of higher level military tasks of planning and strategizing and the real deep tactics, you're not really getting that in just a little bit of time. And I think we would probably sacrifice some of that until, without the volunteer force.
Yeah, I would think that maybe it would help. Like, so if I had to serve, it might have set me on a path to be like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
So it might, I don't know. I know it's a very different thing.
Yeah.
And, and there was a lot of people have been called up from the Israeli side because of the war that's happened there. And so, I mean, even the chosen Peter he got called up, and I think that, I don't know if you watched that show or not, but the kid who plays Peter is Israeli, and he got called up and went in and fought in the war. So I don't know, there's just something about that. I love the respect they have for their nation.
Yeah.
And I just wish that we could get back to that.
And well, Israel is in a very unique situation. They're surrounded by enemies that want to
Sure.
push them into the sea
Right.
all the time, and it's a small nation, both size-wise as well as population size. So they kind of have to have a ready force,
Yeah.
people who are trained to at least pick up a rifle and know what they're doing
Right.
all the time.
Right.
So a little bit different than us,
sure.
but yeah, it's a model that works for a lot of nations. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. But anyway, as I think about anytime something like Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Armed Services, anything, Vietnam Appreciation Day, all Vietnam Vets Day, all of those things come up, my mind just automatically turns to all things military, country, patriotism coming off the election, all the things. It's just there's just so many that just do not appreciate this nation, and I pray that you get nothing but you're at least in an area where you will get great respect today. I don't think people will be disparaging, but I feel for the veterans that live in areas that don't take care of our veterans, and I come here, move here.
Well, I'm from Illinois, Chicago area. That's
Wow.
where I
What
grew
was it
up.
like?
And,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it was fine as far as that growing up. I mean, no one really gave me any guff about wanting to be in the military, join ROTC into college. But I chose a school in Tennessee because of the atmosphere, and I felt like just professionally, I thought that I was getting my best military education from that particular program at ETSU. But the people were just so, gung ho about military and supporting military.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I get it. I mean, Tennessee is and then when I retired, I didn't go back to Illinois. I came back to Tennessee because I felt an affinity for the people and with the people here because of, and no small part of it was just the fact that they embraced their veterans.
Amen. 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 And that's wonderful. Now your family went through your deployments with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, wow, that's got to be hard. That's
Yeah.
gotta be hard.
Yeah. Well, for me, the military deployments, the deployments to Iraq, I think it was like a 13-month and like a 15-month deployment. The worst part of that for me, because of my position, I was a public affairs officer in the division staff at both 101st and 3rd Infantry. So I wasn't one of those guys who's on the front line kicking down doors and doing the really hard work. I was just deployed and, maybe some rockets or mortar rounds would get lobbed at our base every now and then, but I was in no real danger that often. I'll be the first one to tell you. I mean, I was a major and a lieutenant colonel and I just wasn't in that position.
Right.
But for me, the hardest part was being separated from my wife, separated from my family, and just having to be father and husband from a distance over at that time. It was difficult. My wife is wonderful, and she's a trooper. She's such a loyal Christian woman, and she raised our boys to be good, strong Christian boys, and now men and fathers and husbands in their own right. And so we made it work, Mm-hmm. But that was the most difficult part about deployments for me.
Yeah. Well, and so now you've got so did you mentioned your dad was from the Vietnam. Did he serve in Vietnam?
No, he did not serve in Vietnam.
He just grew up in that era.
Yeah,
like I did.
he's just of that age group. Yeah.
Right. Well, and then you've got some grandkids, right?
Yeah.
So how many grandkids now?
Two granddaughters.
Aren't they great?
They are great.
I've got 4. So what ages?
So Maeve is 3, and then I've got one that's like 6. She was born on
So brand
Good
new?
Friday. Yeah.
So she's
Good
brand
Friday
new.
last year. Yeah, she's like 6 months.
Yeah.
Or no, 8 months old. Yeah.
It's the best. It's the
Yeah.
best. I've got 4, and they're just a hoot. They're just a hoot. I
Yeah.
tell you. When you get there, guys, you'll understand. What's your granddaddy name?
Papa.
Papa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're Papa and Mama. But that's great.
I tried to get them to call me the Colonel, but my son didn't want to do that. So I mean,
That's great. They're like enough with the military, Dad. So did any of them think about serving?
I think my oldest son, Alex, and he's the one who's got the 2 daughters. He kind of played with it a little bit, but honestly, I think that they probably just kind of observed what was going on in the family and the stress on the family, and I think my deployments kind of dissuaded them from really.
I can get that,
Yeah.
and I think that would be hard. I think that would be hard, because knowing, okay, can I make that sacrifice?
Yeah.
And I think that would be hard. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I suspect that might be it. And honestly, because of my experience, I didn't really push it on him either. I was like, it's really up to you. And it's something as a kid, you could identify in me just the things that I gravitated to, that I was a military kid. I mean, I like to play Army Men in War and G.I. Joes, and I liked war movies, and it was just like the way that I thought. I mean, it just clicked with me, and so it was very easy for me to want to do that, And they just not fit in that same mold,
Yeah, I get
So it's not for
exactly.
everybody.
Well, I have 4 boys, and we thought we were going to make them all play football because it's good for you. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, those two just absolutely wouldn't do it. They're just, and you have to let your kids be, and that's one of probably the biggest mistakes I ever made was trying to think, oh, we can mold them to understand, because we just wanted them to be athletes. We just wanted them to, move their bodies. It wasn't that we cared that much about particular sport.
Right.
But then they also very much were very impressionable at the time of 9/11. And so one of those boys, it hit him so hard. And then we also have an uncle who is a veteran that he really looked up to, Uncle Cooch. He was Vietnam and Green Beret and all the things, and just and so he had grown up being around Uncle Cooch. And so the minute 9/11 happened, it's just like flipped a switch in him.
Yeah.
Because he was probably second, third grade, something like that. And that kid just went military minded from that onset. He played football and all that, but it just, he just had the military mindset from the very early age. So when he called me, said, "Hey, I'm in the Army, Mom." I'm like, "You go for it. I think that's where you need to be." And it was just the best decision he ever made, hands down. It was exactly where he needed to be. But growing up in that 9/11, impression, and just seeing that just really flipped a switch in him, I think, but the others, like you said, you've got to let them, your life experiences. My life experiences kept me from signing up because of what happened with Vietnam, and it just I was a scaredy cat. That's just the truth. But I had a cousin. One of the reasons I got recruited hard is I had a cousin that was going into the Air Force Academy. My cousin Chet, that comes on here and comments some, he served in the Air Force Academy, and it was at the time in the late 70s whenever they were trying to bring more women in. And it would have just killed him if they'd have recruited me because I didn't have the grades like he did, But it would have been because I was a girl, But they actually talked to me because I was playing basketball and all that kind of stuff, and he'd been like, "No," because he was like validated. I mean, I think he was like our salutatorian or something. But anyway, anything else that you want to talk to people about Veterans Day? I mean, and I maybe take Veterans Day every day. Come on, thank a veteran. Do you wear the hats sometimes that identify you as a vet? I know some
I don't really wear it on my sleeve a whole lot. Of course, I'm proud of my service, and but even when I was in the military, on active duty, I would purposely try and live off post. I didn't want to just consume my life with that,
Right.
No real reason, I guess. It's just I wanted just a little separation. I have my own hobbies and interests. I didn't want to just be one of those guys that just everything that they're about their life identifies with military life. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just, and that's just, again, it's about my personality, my desires, but it's the way I ran things.
Well, for those of us who didn't serve, we love it when you wear the hat so we can say thank you.
Yeah.
And we love that you identify yourself.
I do
want to say thank you.
In church yesterday, the pastor, before he spoke, he thanked veterans, and which, you should do. And then he had everyone stand up, and I'm always like, I don't want to stand up. I don't want to be I'm always just kind of embarrassed when people,
You're not one that wants the attention, huh?
Not really.
Well, but
I appreciate it. I certainly do appreciate it because it needs to be done. It's good for the people saying thanks, and it's good for people to hear, the thanks. But I just get kind of,
Well, you're very humble and very kind. But I'll tell you, as those of us who haven't served that really appreciate what this country is, when we just want to hug you all the time and say thank you. I mean, truly, it gets me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for saying that. And again, I appreciate that sentiment that you're expressing right now. And I know your sons appreciate it, and the other veterans who are listening appreciate it. And I just want to say thanks to, our community in general because of the open arms that just the people I've met. I haven't been living in Robertson County that long, 5 or 6 years now. We moved from Clarksville after I retired. And, Clarksville, you could expect it. I mean,
Right.
half the population is probably military connected at some point. But as you drive out and get away from those kind of military hubs into the other parts of the community, everyone is just the same way, just very appreciative. And so I thank, Robertson County and people of Springfield, and I live in Cedar Hill, and everyone has been very, appreciative of our service, and I appreciate that.
Well, and so like I said, let us say thank you. And I think for the people of my generation that have seen the different times, because we've got the experience of Vietnam, we've got the time of peace. There was like, I don't know, 20 years there that nothing really happened, and then to see what happened with 9/11, the ones of us who have really, really witnessed it. And it just, man, we just have most of us have such a heart for understanding of what the cost is for this country. And so just to have an opportunity to say thank you. So where are you at? Where you at? Come on.
All right.
Come on. Let us say thank you.
I'll put my hat on. And I have some hats.
There you go.
I'll have to put it on.
I'm sure your kiddos bring you some hats every now and then, right? And it's like, here, Dad, I don't know what to get you for Christmas. There you go. So I know, Lee Marie, you can come in here anytime. Can you hang out, or do you want to hang out?
Yeah,
we've got the show until 8 o'clock. I need to do an ad.
Yeah.
But I just thought you might just come on in and join us.
Okay.
So just come on in and sit down. I didn't know. I tell you what, y'all talk about it while I do an ad, okay? Let me do my ad, and I'm going to let them visit for a minute. Lee Marie, we had talked about her coming in today. We just don't get to do shows together very much anymore because she fills in for me, and she does a great job, and she books so many wonderful guests like Jeff. It's wonderful. So thank you. But I do need to talk about different sponsors. Reminder that we're looking for some new sponsors. We've got the Veterans Motorplex at the Rim is about to drop off as far as advertising, because as soon as their season ends, they will end their advertising schedule, and they'll pick back up in March. But they've been a great sponsor, but we need to keep a couple, 2, 3, 4 of them going. And so we're going to have some room for some sponsors, and we'd love to add you on if you would like to join us. But this week we will be talking about Veterans Motorplex at the Rim because they have extended their racing season, and they are racing this weekend. They were planning on this past Saturday being the last Saturday. But the rain just pushed them off, and Jerry's like, come on, we're going to do it. We're going to do it November 15th. And it's called the Chili Willy Bowl, and they are having a big, big race. Going to have Crown Vics out there. My husband was looking at the schedule, and he's like, Crown Victorians racing? I got to see that. So we're going to try to get there. But it's $1,000 to win 75-lap Crown Vics, $500 to win 40-lap Pure Stocks, 100-lap Sportsman, 20-lap Big Dogs, 30-lap SRM Pro 4 Series, 20-lap Scrapers, 20-lap Bandoleros Trophy Dash, and the 30-lap Ridge Runners. It's going to be fun. They're going to have all kinds of fun activities. You know they will. They got a great concession stand. A lot of the local kids work in the concession stand. It's just a family-friendly environment. And $40 will get your whole family in unless you have more than 6 kids. That's the way it works. But it's at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. Great racing fun happening. One more weekend, one more Saturday night. Chance to get out and enjoy everything happening at Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. This is the historic Highland Rim Speedway, and we just want to remind you to follow them at Highland Rim Speedway so you know all the things that are going on out at the Speedway. And when you get out there this weekend, tell them U-Turn sent you and thank them for being one of our longtime sponsors here at One Street Over. And again, can't say it enough. Got to have some. Like I said, she's coming in here, and she's got her Orange Heart Medal shirt on. And is that something you would like to talk about this morning, sister?
Well, I would just briefly again, want to thank all of our veterans out there. This is the first Veterans Day that I'm actually on the board officially. So that's
with the Orange Heart?
Yes.
I didn't realize that. You're on the board with the Orange Heart Medal. Oh, okay. Very cool.
Anyways, I do want to thank all of our veterans out there, and I did bring this just to put on the table there.
Let me see what you got here, babe.
All right.
Oh, I love it. Can't get my hands on it. If you love freedom, think of it. Amen. Amen. Well, that's just like I was sitting here talking to him, and I said, I can't say enough about the veterans, and it gets me. I get very angry when I see people disrespectful to our country. Like I said, I was telling him, we will have a veterans program, and the last 2 years that I've been involved with the veterans, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. But inevitably there'll be a kid or two that won't stand, and I just they just don't have a clue because, maybe in their home they have not been told the things.
I heard when you guys were talking about that, and that also made me think about the Olympics.
Oh,
and I'm sorry, but if you're representing our country, I mean, our country is supporting you. There's American business is supporting you. I think that an Olympian that's not going to stand for the anthem, they need to, if they hate America so much, they need to find what country they like better and go there.
Yeah. And I mean, just I don't understand it. I do not. I do not understand it, and I never will. And I think a lot of it is because of the era I grew up in. You know, it's like we were talking about, and that's one thing. My husband and I were talking about Orange Heart Medal this morning because we have Vietnam veterans in our family that aren't on that wall, and that live. So they're not. Of course, they're not on the wall that my friend Kenneth is on. You know, because he lost his life. Actually, I put up I don't know if I'll need to reshare this story. It may have been
You're listening to the world's best music, good news music, gospel music on WSGI AM 1100.
But I have a story I wrote about our Uncle Cooch, that is Kenneth Vivio, that he was, you know, in Vietnam, in Green Beret. I mean, just, you know, he did it all. And then Kenneth Pease. And the tie-in is one Kenneth made it home, one didn't, you know, and I've got to find that. But I wrote it for my son while he was in basic. You know, I would send it to him in like a couple of sheets at a time, but I write little children's stories and stuff. And so I wrote this for Jedediah, and it was, you know, and I sent it to him while he was in basic training. And I just, like I said, I just don't understand how people cannot appreciate what the cost of what this country is, and all those who've put on the uniform.
And if people haven't been out yet to the Orange Heart Medal Foundation wall right here in Springfield, at the Springfield Memorial Gardens, please go out there. And yes, if you know anybody, you know, living or not, that is not on the wall that served in Vietnam, please, you know, get them on there. And of course, we're going to have a big celebration. And this coming Veterans Day for Vietnam Veterans Day is on a Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yep.
So I hope that everybody puts that on March 29th on their calendar. And let's get the biggest turnout ever.
Do we still have time to, like, could I still get Uncle Cooch on the wall, or have you already got the plate
I think
stud?
that there are a couple spots left on the last one that they're getting ready to send in. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, do it right away.
Okay. Well, remind me how to do it. They've walked me through it a few times. I haven't done it yet.
All right, I will post the link for the website in the show.
Okay.
So if anybody else is listening, it's $150 to be put on the wall. If they don't have an Orange Heart Medal yet, those are actually free.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is $150 to be put on the cenotaph.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Well, can you hold me one for Uncle
Yeah,
Cooch?
let me write that down.
And but yeah, and it's something that we've been meaning to do, and we just it times out on us, and we don't get it done. We've got. I mean, I have to talk to my husband to see, because now he's got another Uncle Donnie, but he's not sure he served in Vietnam, but he was a little bit younger, so I'm not sure. But it was in just off that era. But now Cooch was there. I mean, he talks about being in the jungle and all that. I mean, yeah. Uncle
One other
Cooch
thing
was
I
there.
did want to mention, veterans related, is, you know, because I've been seeing a lot of posts lately, you know, oh, how can I support our veterans? You know, what are the veteran-owned businesses and all that? Well, hey, the turkey shoot is still, what is it, 3 more Fridays or just 2 more Fridays? 3?
Are you involved? She's looking at you like you know. You must go some. Come on.
I've helped out a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it goes through the end of November, doesn't it? Does it go
Yes.
through? I know it goes through Thanksgiving, maybe.
Yes.
Is it
every
Thanksgiving
Saturday.
weekend?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Every single Saturday in November,
Okay.
from 8 a.m. to about 11:45 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we need volunteers to help put up targets, and they're just paper targets.
Yeah.
You know, and they see turkey shoots. Sometimes they think we're shooting actual turkeys.
Yeah.
But it's just paper targets. All ages can help post those, and it's just a great way to support our local veterans. So I really hope. And then, of course, if you do want to compete, you can win. Have you competed before?
I've shot before.
Yeah.
I don't do too good.
Did you not win anything?
Well, you know, I will tell you that the times I've been there, I've volunteered to hang targets, I don't know, 6, 7 times. A lot of the same guys show up, and they've got their shotguns dialed in. My shotgun was not as dialed in, and it was kind of all over the place. But yeah,
That's really funny. That's great. I just I think it'd be a lot of fun. We get tied up with sports. I'm with my grandson sports in the mornings on Saturday, but I'd love for him to have a free morning, because I think he'd have fun coming out and doing that.
it is
you know?
fun. I will say it is fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And the
And
great
it's all
bunch of folks
ages.
out
I mean,
there.
Yeah, Chris Orndorff's grandson, JJ, he shoots.
He cleans
Yeah,
up
quite a
doesn't he?
bit. Yeah.
I hear he cleans up. That's what Chris says. But I love that. But I
Please consider supporting our veterans right here in the American Legion, Post 45 in Greenbrier. And
Can't miss it.
also,
Yeah.
that is the location for tonight's event.
Yeah, go ahead. You're going to tell them about this for sure.
All right. So this is super fun. This is something brand new that we're doing this year. And that is it. Well, we always do a Thanksgiving potluck theme
Yeah.
near Thanksgiving. However, this one we're asking people to dress up as if they were attending the first Thanksgiving.
You and your dress up stuff, you crack me up. She loves costumes, and so are you going, Jeff?
I'm going to be there. Yeah,
You going to dress up?
we'll see.
Oh, okay.
I'll just say that Stephen was gluing his buckle on his pilgrim hat.
Oh
last
my
night.
goodness.
Oh my gosh. Oh, how funny.
And then I said, Stephen, I need like a white bonnet, and I'm looking all, I can't find anything. And all of a sudden I squeal because I'm in the bathroom and I realize if I turn my shower cap inside out, it's fabric on the outside. It looks like a bonnet. I know.
You're so funny. You
But
just
anyways,
crack me up.
I hope
So
everybody
funny.
will consider coming. It's all ages. It's free admission. It's Thanksgiving potluck. We've got the turkeys covered, so any of your favorite Thanksgiving dishes, just bring that. And and the speaker, Simeon England.
Yeah, I'm actually looking
is
forward
good?
to this guy because I do blacksmith work. He does blacksmith stuff, and so I'm really interested in this guy.
Go
You
ahead.
do-
You wanna
okay.
talk about him, or you want me to?
Blacksmith
Go ahead.
work? Oh,
Well, yeah. So
really? You're like a culinary guy. You had this business that you sold, and you're just a jack of all trades. aren't you?
well, I got hobbies.
Yeah, you got hobbies. I love it. I love it. So, what do you do with blacksmith? I mean,
Well, I mean, I just tool around. I don't do a whole. So I just do
That's a hot
decorative
fire.
stuff, and I've been doing it about 6 years, and I, make some houseware, candle holders, just campfire stuff, pokers, that kind of thing, and I make some knives and just whatever.
that's pretty. I mean, how do you get a fire hot enough to do blacksmith though? I mean, oh my goodness, that's a hot fire.
Well, it's a propane forge is what I use, but
A propane forge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That
So
always
here's-
fascinates me.
Here's the information on Simeon. All right, he's a nationally recognized craftsman, blacksmith, and gunsmith, specializing in 18th century hand-forged tomahawks, flintlock rifles, and hand-forged blades.
yeah.
So he makes rifles.
I went to his website and saw some of the stuff that he does. Those rifles he makes are on point. They are nice looking pieces of equipment.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
And he also goes out and does like living history, speeches.
He wears wears the garb of the period and everything, and yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I've always kind of, we've got this really cool little place right on the creek, and there was a cabin there when we first moved there, and we tried so hard to save that. I promise we spent so much money, and it just was full of termites, and we couldn't save it. And so, but I've always wanted to do some kind of a historical thing down there, like a reenactment kind of thing. We've got a nice little setting for it. I would love to do something like that. I don't know. Lee Marie can help me figure it out one of these days. She's good at putting stuff like that together. It'd be a great place for it. It'd be a great little spot for it. I'd love to do that. That'd be
All right,
fun.
so my listeners always say that I give away, I tell people where to go, but I don't give them addresses. So here we go. Tonight's event is at the American Legion Post 45, and those of you new to town, the address is 2730 Highway 41 South in Greenbrier. So it's not too far from Memorial Gardens.
Yes,
Just a little bit past
exactly.
that.
Just straight up the road.
Same side of the road and everything. So, and if you can't dress up, that's okay. Maybe just wear like a plain white or brown or black shirt, just so that you won't, have a hot pink ski vest on or something, because we're going to take a picture. And so, just try to wear some maybe muted colors.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun.
Homespun.
Yeah.
Maybe look a little homespun. There you go.
Or
That'll
go
be
to
fun.
Walmart and buy a white shower cap.
There you go.
And inside out.
White shower cap. You're so funny.
You're
I
going to
can
wonder
just-
why suddenly there's a run on those.
Man, you're just so funny. You crack me up. She does love to dress up. So do you know anything about any of the events? I mentioned that we have one at Greenbrier today. Now, again, you have to be, on campus and all of that. I don't know how they are as far as visitors. We're going to have a lot of people coming in. They do have something I'm wanting to say at East Robertson is where that they have the veterans come in and the kids are lined up on the sides of the road or the sides of the wall, and they honor the veterans. Any other things going on specifically today that you might know of?
I know Melissa Cole posted a bunch, and so
Okay.
I was trying to scroll on her page right now to find all those because I did repost it. But wow, she posts more stuff than I do. So, but if you go to Melissa Cole's page, she's got a bunch listed there.
Okay.
I know Clarksville. Did they already have their parade? Was that parade?
Yeah, they had the parade I think Saturday, yeah.
Okay. A lot of the places had the parades on Saturday because when I was talking to our local veterans, to see what was going on actually today, and they said, you know what, we're going out, we're speaking at so many different schools and such, that there wasn't an official thing that our veterans were sponsoring or putting on.
Okay, I kind of got that feel. Now I know we had the poppy sales all weekend, and I hope you got your poppies. They brought me a little bouquet of them, and the poppy sales, just like the turkey shoot, is about raising money to help local vets. And you, if you didn't get a chance to get a poppy, you can make a donation. You can go online and donate to the local the local VFW, and that will be something where they can help out a vet. Because one thing's for sure, if they find out about a need where a vet needs transportation, they need groceries, they need something, they don't turn them away. And, so that's what all that's about, and helping out our veterans and making sure you appreciate them, not just on one day.
That's right. You can always go to the Orange Heart Medal Foundation also and sponsor some people for the wall. You can just say, hey, I want to sponsor here's 300. I want to sponsor 2 men for the wall, or, 2 soldiers for the wall. That's another way.
Okay, very good. I tell you what, let me go ahead and do a break. Y'all put your heads together and see if there's anything we're missing that we need to talk about before we finish up our time. Again, it's not, if you have the day off, then do something to remember our veterans today and say thank you. And just remember, every day you need to be looking for those opportunities to appreciate the nation that you live in, because it is a great honor and a great blessing to be born where you can be free. And I just hope you share that message with everyone. We want to remind you of our longest running sponsor, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty, my dear friends. Everything that is going, they're always plugged into the community and all the things happening. And I can't say enough about them and their background. They're up in Rebecca has her office in White House. She has officed in White House. She has an agency office there. Barry has his office here in Springfield. He is a broker. So she's an agent. He's a broker. They combined those 2 offices to bring you Exit Prime Realty. They were part of the Garden Gate team with Exit for many, many years. So the one thing they wanted people to understand is when they brought Exit Prime Realty, they didn't change anything. The same great team, just a new branch in the tree. And with that, you've got all the expertise that Barry and Rebecca bring to the table. She's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. He is a marketer by trade. He was a vice president of a media marketing company for nearly 17 years up in Nashville, bringing that marketing background to the team. If you're selling something, you want to make sure it's seen in the best light with the videography, the photography, the drone footage, the walkthrough tours that they can do. He came in the classroom and showed my kids how to do that. Did some indoor drone stuff for them. It's really cool, some of the things he can do. And then Rebecca, being that she's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, if you're somebody that needs to downsize, you've got property to sell, and you're like, man, I just don't need all this land anymore. My kids have moved away. She can help you understand all the nuances of retirement age and the tax implications. She's been specifically trained in that. They are in Cross Plains. They've been there for nearly 30 years, so they specialize in Robeson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky, because they've worked in diverse backgrounds, and they're from Kentucky like me originally, so they understand that as well. Great folks, great opportunity to talk to them no matter what's going on, what side of the real estate table you're on, buying or selling, or if you want to be a realtor, they would love to mentor you as well. Sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-Y, RobertsonCounty.com. You can Google them. You'll get unique Facebook pages, and you'll get unique websites that talk about historic properties, Barry's marketing background, just all the things to learn about them individually. You'll find them just by doing a quick Google search. But again, sellwithbecky.com or buy, B-U-Y, RobertsonCounty.com. Easy ways to contact them. And we just appreciate your service so much. Helicopter pilot. My gosh, that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So did you, when you were deployed, were you a pilot?
No, actually, I did the helicopter stuff from 1990 to about 2000, and then I had this is, of course, before all the heavy war stuff was happening.
Right.
But then I had this opportunity to try public affairs. They had this thing called functional areas that they assign commissioned officers at some point in their career. So at least in the Army. And so I said, well, let me see what this public affairs thing is all about. And I thought it was pretty cool. My first assignment, I got to go to the Pentagon. I was in the United States Army Visual Information Center in the television division. I was the deputy chief of that, and I did that in the Pentagon.
That's cool.
And so, I kind of stuck with public affairs after that.
That's really cool. It's so funny you mentioned that. I've got one of my students has already got orders for the Navy. He's a senior and he's already signed up. He's got a report for his basic in June. And he's one of my anchors. He's one of my news anchors for my AV class. And I told him, I said, you understand, Jackson, you can do this in the military.
Yeah.
I need to tell him, so public affairs would be an avenue for him to look at.
That's it. Yep.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's just natural. He's just good in front of the camera. I mean, he's a great news anchor. I told him, I said, this could be your job in the military, buddy. But and he's like want to work on helicopters or things like that. That's his assignment right now. But I said that could change because he's just really good. He's really good. But already that just impresses me when a young person in high school, not even 18, gets parents' permission to go sign up, already has orders to serve and going to report in June after. I mean, everybody else is like, what are you going to do after graduation? He knows. I just am impressed with him. But and that happens. You have kids like that.
Yeah.
Were you one of those kids?
Actually, my dad's a guidance counselor.
Okay.
And so when I turned 17, I needed my parents' permission to enlist. I was going to enlist in a National Guard unit up in Illinois. And so I'm sitting in the recruiter's office, and we're doing the talk and trying to figure out what I was going to do. And there's a big shelf of all these pamphlets, all the different jobs you can do in the Army. And down in the lower right hand corner, tucked away, was this one little pamphlet about ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, and going to college and getting scholarships and stuff. And my dad saw that, and he picked it up and goes, "Hey, wouldn't you like to be an officer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I would. I think I would like that." And so that poor recruiter, he was like, "Oh man, I lost another one." Or
oh my gosh!
But then so I ended up not enlisting at 17, and I just stuck it out and graduated high school, and then went off to college. And,
you did it that route. But still,
went
you
that
had that mindset too.
Yeah,
though, so
I was ready to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And
we had a guy in my school when he turned 17. He joined the Guard and Reserve. I think it was the Guard unit he was in, and so in between his junior and senior year in high school, he went to basic training, came back, and he had the buzz cut, and he just looked tough. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do that too. I thought that guy had a good plan.
Yeah.
And so, it works for some people.
Well, and they give him big bonuses too. I was talking to him the other day, and there's if he graduates, then he has a bonus he's getting, and it's hefty. I don't want to get real specific.
Well, right now, there's so few people even qualify to enlist that, we need qualified people, so they're willing to back it up with some money.
That's one of the things I've had to kind of walk through with some young people who really wanted to, and they didn't qualify, and they find out something like there's something health issue that they didn't know. There was an underlying health issue that's not terrible, but it's enough to keep them out of the military.
Yeah.
And just devastating them, and you just hate it because that's their plan, And so anyway, but. I admire this young man a lot, Jackson Dawson. But again, he's one of my newsmen. But what else have you got there? You look like you were chopping at the bit.
No, I just was going to say, I just posted in the comments section, the orangeheartmedal.org. So that is the website for the Orange Heart Medal. And then also Tennessee Firearms Association is the group that is tonight. So I will post that as well, Tennessee Firearms let's see. Just brought it up. There we go. TennesseeFirearms.com. So that's the state organization. And then, of course, many counties in Tennessee have their own chapter. And so it's the Robertson County chapter of TFA that is having that Thanksgiving tonight. But everybody is welcome to come. It is a nonpartisan group. And so you can feel comfortable, just coming and bringing kids. It'd be great to have just a big, huge group.
Yeah, if you're interested in learning more about firearms and y'all have great speakers. Oh my gosh, every time you tell me who's speaking, it's always wonderful. I think the guy tonight sounds very fascinating. I mean, that's very interesting. So, what are we missing, guys?
Well, I want to wish Jeff a happy birthday this Wednesday. So in a couple days.
Oh, well.
Birthday. So
you remembered.
How old are you? I'm trying to figure out how far behind me you are. I know you're.
Tell?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
I'll tell you, I will be 57. I don't mind telling you. I feel good about it.
See, I'll be 62.
I made it to 57. That's pretty good.
I'll be 62 in December, and so I don't care. And because I was trying, the things you're talking about, I'm like, so how far behind me is he? I didn't think you were too far, so you're not that far behind me. So, but like I said, I do appreciate your service and admire you greatly.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to talk.
Lee Marie for bringing you in.
Thank you, Lee Marie. Appreciate it again.
I'm thankful you could come.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, again, Veterans Day today. Please spend some time appreciating what this country means, the price of freedom, and the people who are willing to put on the uniform. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. That's amazing. That's such an amazing thing. And I know he says he gets embarrassed by the attention, but get over that humility and let us thank you. So and if you can get to a program, I know the schools, as far as being guests, I don't know if you could walk into the one at Greenbrier or not. I just don't know how that works. I mean, but we're going to have a panel. I'm going to videotape it. I've got to leave here post haste the minute the bell rings, because I've got to get there, because the first one's going to be at 8:30, and I've got the camera already in the auditorium. I went and set that up yesterday, so I'll have it recorded and we'll post it or something just to kind of hear. But you'd be a good vet to come in and have on our panel.
Maybe I'll do it sometime.
I'll have to give Coach Wood your name, so say, because he's always looking for folks to come in and do it.
And one other thing, we are going to be collecting Christmas presents for our vets. So we are saying gift cards to either Walmart or Kroger, or socks, warm summer socks, or throw blankets. So every year the TFA gift wraps and has about, 50 or so presents for our veterans. So they can bring them tonight or next month.
I just can't believe Christmas is right on the corner.
I know.
I celebrate Christmas with my kiddos the second week in December.
Holy
I am
moly.
literally just weeks away. Well, I'm a boy mama. You know this.
Yes.
I mean, you have to compete with holidays with all the others. I just throw
Yes.
them up.
This year we have all three of our boys and their families in our house for Christmas Day.
I'm impressed.
Won't see them on Thanksgiving, none of them.
Yeah.
But we got them for
Well, see,
Christmas.
We do. We're doing Thanksgiving the day after. I gave them up. Because it doesn't matter. I just want to have, and I like being able to take the pressure off of them, and it's like, because I've got one daughter-in-law's the only child. So if she's not home, they got nobody, and I'm here. I've got ones that are living close enough. I can go see the kids and all,
Yeah.
So I've got some options, and I'm just like, you know what? It's just a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to have Christmas first and get to before they're worn out from it, because they get tired of it, So I get to have it first before they get tired of it and all that, and then we're having Thanksgiving the day after, and we're making it a big family reunion, kind of in honor of my parents, because my parents were like, come on, you won't come? They'd have everybody. And a lot of times it was relatives, but sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it's just friends. Right. And so my parents are gone now, so we're going to have Thanksgiving the day after, so they can all do their own thing, and then we're calling it the Vivio Thanksgiving Throwdown.
All right.
First one. So there you go. But all right.
Big families should, like 3 of my siblings got together this past Saturday and had Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to pick those exact days.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, Master's Table needs people to help on Thanksgiving Day. So I'm going to try to go tag in up there and do something on Thanksgiving Day. So there you go. There's all kinds of fun stuff. We're doing a Thanksgiving dinner at Celebrate Recovery on the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. You can come help us with that too.
But remember, tonight we will see you at Thanksgiving.
One more time.
6 p.m. at the American Legion in Greenbrier. We're going to eat Thanksgiving dinner, potluck, at 6 p.m. And then our speaker is going to start at 6:30. You can dress up. We highly encourage that, but you don't have to. It's going to be super fun. Tonight, the American Legion in Greenbrier, 2730 Highway 41 South.
See you there.
Greenbrier.
Thank
See
you.
there.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Allen.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
you,
much.
brother.
Yep.
God bless you. And thank you all who served. And again, thank you, Jedediah, my son, Jedediah Vivio, for serving, and all those who have served. We appreciate you and we honor you on this Veterans Day. God bless. This is 1100 WSGI.
Just how far